On my 65th birthday, my son handed me a cake with one hand and a nursing home contract with the other. Tell me, how did I go from mom to burden? He said I was stuck in the past, that my quilts, my home, my life's work meant nothing. What I didn't know was that he'd already forged my signature and planned to sell my house behind my back. I gave up art school to raise him. I sewed through sleepless nights, through my stroke, through silence. But I won't sew myself into silence anymore. In this video, you'll see how I uncovered his scheme, protected the secret trust my late husband left for me, and walked away with my dignity, my home, and a brand new life by the sea on my terms. He tore the quilt I made for his birth, called me a burden. But in front of the nursing home staff, I handed him the quilt stitched with one final truth. Family is earned, not owed. If you're a mother like me, don't wait for your child to rewrite your story. Watch now, before it's too late. Before I take you into my story, I want to know, where are you right now? Are you curled up at home, reading in quiet, or somewhere that doesn't quite feel like yours? If any part of my journey reminds you of something you've lived through, or someone you love, leave a comment below. I read every single one, and your voice matters more than you think. Let's begin this together. My birthday cake glows with candles, 65 flickering lights casting shadows on the dining room wall. Why does my son's smile feel so cold, like a winter draft sneaking through a cracked window? I stand in my Willow Creek home, July 15, 2024, surrounded by the warmth of apple pie and potluck dishes, Clara's deviled eggs, Mrs. Larson's potato salad, but the warmth doesn't reach my heart. Quilts drape the furniture, each stitch a memory of my years as a seamstress, a life I poured into my family. My cane rests against the table, a reminder of the stroke 2 years ago that slowed my steps but not my spirit. I force a smile, but Nathan's grin, sharp and fleeting, cuts deeper than I want to admit. The living room hums with soft chatter, neighbors and family mingling under the glow of my old chandelier. I adjust my cardigan, smoothing its worn edges, and greet guests with a nod. Nathan, my son, strides in, late his real estate agent suit, crisp but his eyes distracted. Lauren, his wife, trails behind her heels, clicking on the hardwood, her smile as polished as her manicured nails. They barely glance at the quilt on the couch, the one I spent months sewing for Nathan's college graduation. Sarah, my daughter, is here too, but her phone buzzes constantly, her graphic designer life pulling her away. Only Mia, Sarah's 15-year-old daughter, helps me set the table, her ponytail bouncing as she arranges plates. "Grandma, your quilts are magic." She beams, her voice bright like summer sun. I squeeze her hand, her warmth a flicker of hope. Mia hands me a handmade bracelet bead strung with care. "For your birthday," she says, eyes shining. My throat tightens. "Thank you, sweetheart," I whisper, slipping it on. My husband Robert sits in his armchair, his retired mechanic hands folded, his face distant. He's been quiet since Nathan's business troubles started, as if my sacrifices for his career, giving up art school to support him, built a wall between us. Clara, my best friend, catches my eye from across the room. Her librarian glasses perch low, her gray curls framing a knowing look. She's estranged from her own daughter, and her pain mirrors mine. I nod, but my chest aches, a quiet hurt I can't shake. The toasts begin, glasses clinking with iced tea and lemonade. Nathan raises his voice loud, almost performative. "To Mom's house, a real museum," he jokes, his laugh sharp. Guests chuckle, but the words sting, dismissing the quilts, the home I built with love. Robert stays silent, his eyes on his glass. Sarah glances up from her phone, distracted, missing the barb. Clara leans close, her whisper soft but fierce. "They don't see you, Maggie." My heart aches, but I nod politely, my smile a fragile mask. I think of Bill, my first husband, who died before Sarah was born. His photo on the mantel seems to whisper a warning, his eyes steady, as if he knows what's coming. As guests drift out, their plates cleared, I tidy the living room, my cane thumping softly. Nathan and Lauren linger, their heads bent close, voices low. I pause by the doorway, catching their words. This place has value, Lauren murmurs, eyeing my oak table. It could solve everything, Nathan replies, his tone clipped. My breath catches. I sacrifice my sewing dreams for Nathan's college, working late nights to pay his tuition. Did it mean nothing? My fingers tighten on my cane, the hurt deepening. I want to confront them, but my legs feel heavy, my heart heavier. I need to know what they're planning. I move to clear the coffee table, my hands brushing a stray card that slips to the floor. I bend slowly, my knees protesting, and pick it up. It's a Sunny Haven nursing home card, glossy and bright, with Nathan's handwriting on the back, meeting next week. My pulse quickens. A nursing home for me. The card glints in my hand, a small, sharp clue to a betrayal I can't yet name. I tuck it into my apron, my mind racing. Nathan's mockery. You're stuck in the past. Mom echoes each word, a needle in my chest. I force a smile as he passes his grin, cold Lauren's eyes avoiding mine. Clara lingers her hand on my arm. You okay, Maggie? She asks, her voice soft. I nod, but my eyes sting. Just tired, I lie. She squeezes my hand, her own estrangement making her see my pain. Robert glances over his brow, furrowed, but he says nothing. Sarah, still on her phone, misses it all. Mia hugs me, her bracelet warm on my wrist. Love you, Grandma, she says. That love, small but real, keeps me standing. But Nathan's words, his dismissal of my life's work, burn. I think of the years I gave up the art school dreams I buried for him and Robert. Did I raise a son or just a stranger? I stand alone in the quiet house, the chandelier's light dimming. The Sunny Haven card weighs heavy in my apron, a question I can't ignore. What's Nathan planning? I grip my cane, my hurt hardening into something sharper. I won't fade away. Not yet. The house creaks at midnight, its old bones groaning under the weight of secrets. Their voices carry a betrayal I can't unhear, slithering through the dark like a snake. My bedroom in Willow Creek is silent save for the hum of crickets outside their chirps, sharp against the stillness. My quilts draped over the chair catch moonlight, each stitch a reminder of the life I built. My cane leans against the bed, a silent partner since my stroke. I lie awake, the Sunny Haven card from Nathan's pocket burning in my mind. Bill's photo my first husband watches from the mantel, his eyes steady as if he knew what my son was capable of. I can't sleep. My heart thudding too loud. My slippers scuff the hardwood as I creep downstairs, my cane thumping softly. The kitchen light spills into the hall, a thin glow under the door. Nathan and Lauren's voices drift out low and urgent. I pause my breath, catching and press closer. Her house will clear our debts. Nathan says, his voice clipped like he's pitching a sale. Lauren's reply is sharp, her heels clicking as she paces. We'll forge her signature if she fights. Sunny Haven's waiting. My fingers tighten on my cane, the wood biting my palm. My home, the one I built with years of sewing, of giving up dreams for Nathan's college, they want to sell it like it's nothing. My heart pounds a drum in my chest. I lean against the wall, the cool plaster grounding me. Bill's warnings echo from years ago before he died. Watch Nathan, he'd said, his voice heavy. He's got a greedy streak. I ignored it, then blinded by love by the nights I sewed to pay his tuition. Now those sacrifices feel like chains. I vow to protect this house, these quilts, this life I made for us all. My legs shake, but not from weakness, from a spark of anger igniting inside. Nathan's entitlement, fed by my love, has turned him into a stranger. I won't let him take what's mine. Alone in the living room, I sink into my armchair, the fabric worn from years of evenings with Robert and the kids. The cricket's hum fades, replaced by memories of giving up art school for Robert's mechanic shop for Nathan's future. I see Sarah's face distracted at my birthday and Mia's bracelet warm on my wrist. Clara, my rock, would know what to do. She's been through her own family pain, estranged from her daughter. I need her now, her sharp librarian mind, to help me unravel this. My fingers trace the Sunny Haven card, its glossy promise a lie. Was my love just a debt to him? Something to cash in? I shuffle to the window, the moonlight silvering the lawn. Nathan's voice cuts through again now on the phone in the kitchen. Yeah, the property deal's moving fast. He says, his tone smug. My pulse spikes. A realtor. Already, I clutch the card, its edges sharp against my skin. The deal's closing soon, he says his words. A ticking clock. My hurt hardens anger budding in my chest. I think of Bill, his photo, a silent ally urging me to fight. Nathan's scheme is clear now. He wants me in Sunny Haven, my home sold to fix his mistakes. But I'm not done yet. I'm still here, still Maggie. How much time do I have? The question gnaws as I slip the card back into my apron. I need Clara, maybe Robert if he'll listen. The house creaks again, as if it knows what's coming. I grip my cane and head back to bed, my steps slow but sure. Nathan thinks he's won, but he's forgotten who I am. I raised him. I'll outsmart him. Nathan's voice slices through the room, sharp as a blade. How dare he call me a burden? Morning light filters into my Willow Creek living room, the air thick with the scent of leftover potluck plates, Clara's deviled eggs, Mrs. Larson's potato salad stacked on the counter. The quilt I sewed for Nathan's birth hangs heavy on the wall, its bright threads a symbol of lost trust mocking me. Outside the farmer's market hums vendors calling carts rattling, but inside tension chokes the air. My cane thumps as I move my stroke-slowed steps steady, but my heart racing from last night's discovery. Nathan's Sunny Haven card and his whispered plan to sell my home. I set the table for breakfast, my hands trembling as I arrange coffee mugs. Nathan strides in his real estate agent suit, crisp his jaw tight. Lauren follows her heels, clicking her smile forced like a department store mannequin. Robert, my husband, sits at the table, his mechanic's hands folded, his eyes distant. Clara, my best friend, sips coffee, her librarian glasses glinting as she watches Nathan. I clutch the Sunny Haven card in my apron, its edges sharp. Nathan, I say, my voice steady despite the knot in my chest. What's this about, Sunny Haven? He freezes his coffee mug halfway to his lips, then smirks. Just looking out for you, Mom. You're a burden dragging us down. His words hit like a slap, and he grabs my arm, his grip harsh right in front of Clara and Robert. My wrist stings, but my anger flares hotter. Lauren laughs a brittle sound, tossing her hair. These quilts, Maggie. So shabby. This house needs a real update. Her mockery cuts, dismissing the years I spent sewing to fund Nathan's college. Robert looks away, his fingers twitching, guilt flickering in his eyes. He's been distant since Nathan's business troubles, as if my sacrifices for his career built a wall between us. Clara sets her mug down hard, the clink loud in the silence. She pulls me aside, her gray curls brushing my shoulder. Don't let him erase you, Maggie. She whispers, her voice, fierce, shaped by her own estrangement from her daughter. My chest tightens, anger drowning the hurt from last night. Nathan's arrogance, fed by my sacrifices, has turned him into a stranger. I clear the table, my cane thumping, my mind churning. I think of the nights I sewed until dawn, funding Nathan's education while giving up my art school dreams for Robert's shop. Have I ever been enough? Clara lingers her hand on mine, her eyes steady. You're stronger than he thinks, she says. I nod, my anger solidifying into defiance. I vow to confide in her fully to protect this house, these quilts, my life. As Nathan grabs his jacket, something slips from the pocket of folded paper. Imagine bending down in your own home and finding proof your child is stealing from you. Not just words anymore, but betrayal in ink. If you're still here, drop a 6 in the comments, because what I uncovered next shattered something deep inside me. I bend slowly, my knees creaking, and pick it up. It's a forged banknote, my signature scrawled in Nathan's handwriting. My breath catches. He's stealing my life, piece by piece. I tuck the note into my apron, my fingers shaking, but my resolve firm. Nathan and Lauren head out, their voices fading toward the farmer's market. Robert glances at me, his brow furrowed, a hint of awareness in his eyes. Clara squeezes my arm, her strength bolstering mine. The forged note crinkles in my hand, a warning as loud as Nathan's cruel words. Is he stealing my life? I won't let him. Not my home, not my legacy. I grip my cane ready to fight. My son thinks I'm weak, a fading shadow in my own home. My friends see the strength he ignores, and I'm ready to prove them right. I stand outside Clara's cozy Willow Creek home, jazz records humming softly from her open window, mingling with the scent of fresh coffee. Bookshelves line her living room, their spines worn a testament to her years as a librarian. My cane thumps on her porch, my heart still pounding from Nathan's forged banknote. His cruel words, "You're a burden, Mom," ringing in my ears. Inside Bill's old sewing box sits dusty in my mind, hiding truths I need to face, just like the secrets Nathan's keeping. I settle into Clara's armchair, the cushions soft, the coffee warm in my hands. Clara's gray curls bounce as she sits across from me, her eyes sharp behind her glasses. "Tell me everything, Maggie," she says, her voice steady. I pull the Sunny Haven card and forged note from my apron, my fingers trembling. Nathan's planning to sell my house, Clara. He's forging my signature. Her face hardens, her own estrangement from her daughter, flashing in her eyes. "I lost my girl to a family fight," she says, her voice low. "Don't let Nathan erase you, Maggie." Her words ignite my anger, but they also spark resolve. I'm not just a mother who sacrificed her art school dreams for Nathan's college. I'm a fighter, and Clara sees it. The Willow Creek coffee shop buzzes with chatter espresso steam, curling in the air as I sit with Clara later that day. My phone rings and Jessica Harper's voice comes through crisp and urgent. As Sunny Haven's administrator, she's seen Nathan's deposit for my admission, his forgery attempt scrawled in the paperwork. "My grandma was neglected in a place like that," Jessica says, her tone fierce. "I won't let him force you, Maggie. You have rights." My chest tightens, her empathy a lifeline. Nathan's scheming, selling my home to clear his debts, feels like a theft of my life's work. I grip my cane, anger sharpening into a plan. Jessica's promise fuels me. I'll sell my assets first before Nathan can. Robert joins us, his mechanic's hands fidgeting, his eyes heavy with guilt. He overheard Jessica's call, and now he speaks, his voice rough. "I didn't see it, Maggie. All those years you gave up for me for Nathan." I nod, remembering the nights I sewed to support his shop, his career. His admission softens the wall between us, but my focus shifts as Clara nudges me. Outside, Nathan stands at the farmer's market, his suit crisp, talking to a realtor. Their hands gesture toward my street, my home. My pulse races, anger flaring. He's moving faster than I thought, his entitlement born from my sacrifices, blinding him to my worth. I sip my coffee, the bitter taste grounding me. Clara's hand rests on mine, her estrangement mirroring my pain. "You're not alone," she says. Robert nods, his guilt turning to resolve. Jessica's story, her grandmother's neglect, adds weight to my fight. I think of Mia's bracelet, her loyalty a flicker of hope. Can I trust anyone but myself now? Nathan's realtor meeting sparks a question, a warning. What deal is he closing? I clutch the forged note, my anger a fire I won't let die. I'll beat him at his own game with Clara, Robert, and Jessica by my side. My home, my quilts, my life, they're mine to protect. Bill's words echo from the grave, sharp and clear, cutting through my anger. He saw Nathan's greed long ago, and now I see it too. My sewing room in Willow Creek is a sanctuary cluttered with fabric scraps, the air heavy with the nostalgic scent of old thread. The quilt I sewed for Nathan's birth hangs on the wall, its bright patches now feeling like a lie, a promise he broke. My cane rests against the table, my hands steady despite the stroke that slowed me. The Sunny Haven card, the forged banknote, Nathan's cruel words, they burn in my mind, pushing me to act. I'm Maggie Thompson, 65, and I won't let my son erase me. I sit at my sewing table, the wood worn smooth by years of work. My fingers trace Bill's old sewing box, its lid dusty, a relic from my first husband gone before Sarah was born. I hesitate, then turn the key, the lock clicking open. Inside, among spools and needles, lies a yellowed envelope, Bill's handwriting scrawled across it, for Maggie. My hands tremble, tears pricking my eyes as I open it. Nathan's got a greedy streak. He wrote his words steady. "There's a family trust hidden in your name. Protect it, Maggie. My breath catches. A trust. Something Nathan can't touch. My anger shifts hardening into resolve. Bill saw this coming, and now his warning fuels my fight to save my home, my legacy. The doorbell chimes soft but sharp in the quiet. Mia, my 15-year-old granddaughter, steps in her ponytail, swinging her eyes bright. She's Sarah's daughter, my beacon of hope, always asking for my stories, calling me her hero. "Grandma, you okay?" she asks, noticing my damp cheeks. I force a smile, setting the letter aside. "Just remembering," I say. We quilt together, her fingers clumsy but eager, the needle's rhythm soothing. She pulls a new bracelet from her pocket, beads glinting. "You're stronger than Dad, Grandma," she says, slipping it on my wrist. Her warmth eases my pain, but I share a vague worry. "Your dad's planning something, Mia." Her brow furrows, and I see her strength, like mine. Clara arrives, her gray curls bouncing her librarian glasses low. She sees the letter, her face softening. "Bill's letter is your weapon, Maggie," she says, her voice fierce, shaped by her own estrangement from her daughter. "Use it to fight." I nod, my resolve solidifying. I think of the nights I sewed to fund Nathan's college, giving up art school for Robert's shop for our family. Did I raise a son or just a stranger? Clara's encouragement mirrors my pain, her fight my own. Mia, sorting fabric, pauses, her hand brushing Nathan's briefcase left by the couch. "Grandma, look," she whispers, pulling out a hidden Sunny Haven contract, my name printed bold. My heart chills. Nathan's scheme is moving faster than I thought. We sit in Willow Creek Park later, spring blooms, bursting children's laughter ringing. Mia clutches the contract, her eyes wide. "What's Dad doing?" she asks. I touch her bracelet, its beads warm. "Something will stop," I say, my voice firm. Clara nods her hand on mine. Bill's letter. The trust is my shield, my way to outmaneuver Nathan. My anger channels into a focused mission, protect my home, my quilts, my worth. Mia's loyalty, her bracelet, offers hope, a generational bond unbroken. Nathan's contract hints at his escalating plan, but I'm ready. The park's breeze carries my resolve strong as the thread in my quilts. Mia's contract discovery chills me, its pages crisp in my hand. What's Nathan hiding now? I tuck it into my apron next to Bill's letter, my cane thumping as we walk back. Clara's eyes meet mine, fierce with belief. I'm not alone. Nathan thinks he's won, but Bill's voice, Mia's love and Clara's strength say otherwise. I'll use that trust to fight to reclaim what's mine. I sign their papers, my hand trembling, but my heart plots its escape. Bill's letter tucked in my apron fuels my cunning, its words, a steady drumbeat guiding me. My dining room in Willow Creek is tense, the air thick with forced smiles, the table cluttered with coffee mugs and a half-eaten apple pie from my birthday. My cane rests against my chair, a quiet ally since my stroke. Nathan's smug grin and Lauren's nervous glances tell me they think they've won. But I'm Maggie Thompson, 65, and I'm not the frail old woman they expect. My quilts draped over the couch remind me of the life I built, the sacrifices I made. I'm ready to outwit my son. Nathan slides a stack of Sunny Haven papers across the table, his real estate agent suit crisp, his eyes gleaming. "Sign here, Mom," he says, smirking. "It's for your own good." Lauren nods her heels, tapping her smile as fake as her designer purse. "You'll love it there, Maggie," she says, her voice syrupy. I feign frailty, my hands shaking as I grip the pen, but my eyes are sharp, watching their every move. The forged banknote and Sunny Haven contract burn in my memory, proof of Nathan's betrayal. I sign slowly, my signature wobbly on purpose, misleading them. My heart races, not with fear, but with resolve. They think I'm out of the game, but I'm just starting to play. Later, I meet Robert at the Willow Creek Bank, the clink of coins and murmur of tellers filling the air. My husband's face is lined with guilt, his mechanic's hands fidgeting. He's been distant for years, ever since Nathan's troubles began, but now he steps closer. "I should have stood by you sooner, Maggie," he says, his voice rough. I think of the art school dreams I gave up for his shop for Nathan's college. He's arranged the house and car sales through his old contacts, securing the family trust Bill left me. Your funds are safe, he says, his eyes steady. Nathan can't touch them. My chest swells, resolve hardening. Robert's support born from my sacrifices is a bridge rebuilt. I nod my cane, thumping as we leave the bank's bustle fading behind us. Back home, I tidy the kitchen, my apron heavy with Bill's letter. Nathan's briefcase sits by the couch, left carelessly. As I pass, I hear his phone buzz a voicemail playing on speaker. She's out of the way now, Nathan's voice says smug to a realtor. The deal's set. My breath catches anger flaring. He's discussing his forgery, his plan to steal my home. I grab the phone. The voicemail saved a small, sharp clue to his scheme. My resolve hardens knowing the trust is safe thanks to Robert. Nathan thinks he's won, but he's underestimated me. I'm not just a mother who sewed for his future. I'm a woman reclaiming her worth. I sit at my sewing table, the room quiet, the scent of thread grounding me. Is my son a liar or worse? The question stings, but my plan takes shape. Clara's encouragement, Mia's loyalty, Robert's redemption, they're my strength. Nathan's smugness and Lauren's nervous glances, her fear of socialite shame, only deepen their antagonism. The voicemail mentions a deadline tomorrow. How soon is he moving me? I clutch my cane, my heart steady. Nathan's game is clear, but I'm playing my own. With Robert's help, my home and trust are safe. I'll face Nathan not as a victim, but as a mother who won't be erased. Nathan's hands tear my past apart, ripping the threads of my heart. Can I mend what's left of us? My living room in Willow Creek is a mess. Scattered quilt, scraps littering the floor, the remnants of the blanket I sewed for Nathan's birth. Its bright patches, once a symbol of love, now scream betrayal torn by his hands. My cane thumps against the hardwood, my stroke-weakened legs steady, but my anger blazing. Outside, the coffee shops hum espresso machines, whirring locals, whispering waits for me. But here, the air is thick with tension. I'm Maggie Thompson, 65, and Nathan's cruelty won't break me. I face Nathan in the living room, the forged banknote from his jacket crumpled in my hand. What's this, Nathan? I ask, my voice sharp. His eyes narrow, his real estate suit crisp, but his face defensive. You don't get how the world works now, Mom. He snaps, snatching the quilt from the wall. In a rage, he tears it threads, snapping patches falling like confetti. My heart breaks, each rip a wound. I spent months sewing that for him, nights hunched over to fund his college, sacrificing my art school dreams. His entitlement, fed by my love, fuels this cruelty. Lauren by his side fidgets her heels, clicking nervously. Her socialite smile falters, fear of shame creeping in. My resolve hardens, anger flaring into fierce determination. At the coffee shop, the air smells of burnt espresso whispers swirling like steam. Sarah, my daughter, sits across from me, her eyes red. Mia's discovery of the Sunny Haven contract shook her. I should have seen your strength sooner. Mom, she says, her voice breaking. She recalls her college graduation, how I missed it working late to support her and Nathan. I resented you for it, she admits, tears falling. I squeeze her hand, my cane resting against the table. Her remorse heals a rift I didn't know still hurt. Mia beside her looks upset, her ponytail swinging. I'm with you, Grandma, she says, sliding a new handmade bracelet onto my wrist, its beads warm. Her loyalty, her belief in me as her hero sparks hope. I vow to act to protect my home. Back home, Mia sorts through Nathan's briefcase, her hands shaking. Grandma, look, she whispers, pulling out a Sunny Haven contract, my name bold detailing my admission tomorrow. My breath catches the paper crisp in my fingers. Nathan's plan is racing forward, his greed dismissing my worth. Clara arrives, her gray curls framing fierce eyes. You're stronger than him, she says, her own estrangement fueling her support. Robert, now by my side, nods his guilt replaced by pride. We'll stop him, Maggie, he says, his voice steady, a mechanic's hands ready to fix this. Have I ever been enough? The question burns, but my anger sharpens into action. Nathan's quilt destruction and Sarah's remorse fracture our family, but I'm ready to fight. The contract lists a move-in date for tomorrow, its words a ticking clock. Is my time running out? I tuck it into my apron next to Bill's letter, my cane firm in my hand. Nathan thinks he's won, but Mia's bracelet, Sarah's tears, Clara's strength, and Robert's support say otherwise. I'll outmaneuver him not as a victim, but as a mother reclaiming her worth. My needle weaves Nathan's reckoning, each stitch a quiet rebellion. Will he ever see my worth, or is he too far gone? My sewing room in Willow Creek glows with a single lamp, its light soft, the needle clicking softly against the fabric. The torn quilt's threads once sewn for Nathan's birth fuel, my defiance scattered on the floor like broken promises. My cane rests nearby, a steady partner since my stroke. I'm Maggie Thompson, 65, and I'm crafting more than a quilt, I'm stitching my freedom. Outside, the world hums, but here in this room, my resolve peaks a fire no one can douse. I sit at my sewing table, piecing together a new quilt, its pages vibrant with reds and blues, a hidden message embroidered in the lining. Family is earned, not owed. My hands are steady, the rhythm of the needle calming my racing heart. Bill's letter warning of Nathan's greed sits folded inside, alongside my own note exposing his forgery, the banknote, the Sunny Haven contract, his plan to steal my home. Every stitch is a vow to protect my maternal legacy, the life I built through years of sewing, sacrificing art school for Robert's shop and Nathan's college. My anger has hardened into resolve, and this quilt will be Nathan's mirror showing him who he's become. Clara visits her gray curls, catching the lamplight, her librarian glasses low. She sits beside me, her voice soft but fierce. "You're stitching your freedom, Maggie," she says, her own estrangement from her daughter, sharpening her words. I lost my girl to pride. Don't lose yourself. Her pain mirrors mine, bolstering my strength. Robert steps in, his mechanic's hands, steady, now no longer distant. "I failed you before Maggie. Not now," he says, his voice thick with regret. He's confirmed the house and car sales through his contacts, the family trust safe in my name. "Your funds are secure," he adds. Nathan can't touch them. I nod, my cane thumping as I stand, gratitude mixing with resolve. Robert's redemption, born from my sacrifices, is a bridge rebuilt, and Clara's encouragement lights my path. I meet Jessica and Ryan at Sunny Haven's parking lot. The air shadowed the hum of distant traffic, sharp in the dusk. Jessica, the administrator, grips my hand, her eyes fierce. "My grandma was neglected in a place like this," she says. "I'll make sure you're free, Maggie." Ryan, her orderly, nods, his young face serious, seeing me as a surrogate grandmother. I hand Jessica the quilt, its weight heavy with truth. "Give this to Nathan when the time comes," I say. My phone buzzes, Nathan's voice, loud and cruel, spills through. "You're holding us back, Maggie," he yells, threatening to evict me from my own home. Sarah's gasp, audible in the background. My heart lurches, outrage flaring. Lauren's text follows her panic clear. "We're finalizing the deal." My fingers tighten on my cane, the quilt's message burning in my mind. I return home, the sewing room's quiet, wrapping around me like a hug. Clara's estrangement, Jessica's loss, Ryan's loyalty, they deepen my fight. Lauren's nervousness, her fear of socialite shame, hints at her unraveling, while Nathan's threat evicting me from the home I built cuts deep, evoking fury. Robert stands by me, his pride a steady anchor. Will my legacy teach Nathan, or just haunt him? The question lingers as I fold the quilt, its message a silent roar. Lauren's text about a deadline tomorrow spurs my pulse. Can I escape in time? My plan is set, my allies ready. Nathan thinks he's won, but this quilt, this truth will be his undoing. I'm not just a mother, I'm Maggie, and I'm taking back my life. Sunny Haven's doors await their glass, gleaming like a trap. My truth will shine brighter than their lies, and I'm ready to set it free. The quilt heavy with Bill's letter is my final word to Nathan tucked under my arm as I step into the nursing home's polished lobby. The air smells of antiseptic, sharp and sterile, the bustle of staff and visitors a low hum. My cane thumps on the linoleum steady despite my stroke, my resolve fiercer than ever. A corridor stretches ahead, its fluorescent lights buzzing with tension. I'm Maggie Thompson, 65, and today I reclaim my worth. Nathan leads the way, his real estate suit crisp, his smirk smug. Lauren's heels click beside him, her socialite smile, tight eyes darting. Sarah, my daughter, walks close, her face soft with remorse, our rift healed. Robert, my husband, grips my hand, his mechanic strength a quiet pride. Mia, my 15-year-old granddaughter, clutches my arm, her ponytail swinging, her eyes wide with awe. Jessica, Sunny Haven's administrator, greets us, her professional nod, hiding a fierce fairness. I pause in the lobby, the quilt heavy, my cane steady. Bill's letter warning of Nathan's greed burns in my mind. I'm not here to stay. I'm here to fight. The lobby's chatter fades as I face Nathan, my voice clear. I know everything I say, pulling Bill's letter and the forged banknote from the quilt. You tried to forge my signature, Nathan, to steal my home. I unfold the letter, reading aloud Nathan's greedy Maggie. Protect the trust. Gasps ripple through the staff and visitors. Mia shouts, "You lied," Dad, her voice sharp, her loyalty fierce. Lauren looks away, her face crumpling, her socialite facade shattered by shame. Nathan's jaw drops, his smugness gone. "You're too old to decide," he stammers, his justification desperate. Jessica steps forward, her voice calm but firm. "Mrs. Thompson has every right to leave." My heart soars, resolve shifting to liberation. I hand Nathan the quilt, its hidden message. Family is earned, not owed, a silent rebuke. Jessica reveals Nathan's forgery attempt to the staff, her words crisp, confirming my claims. He submitted falsified documents, she says, her fairness, driven by her grandmother's neglect. Robert squeezes my hand, his pride clear. "You're unstoppable, Maggie." He whispers, his distance fully bridged. Sarah embraces me, tears in her eyes. "I'm so sorry, Mom," she says, her reconciliation complete. Mia's defense, her shout, binds us closer, her courage mirroring mine. Nathan's guilt surfaces, his face pale, but I'm done waiting for his change. I think of my sacrifices, art school for Robert, sewing for Nathan's college. Did I raise a son or just a stranger? The quilt, my legacy, speaks for me, its weight lifting as I hand it over. I turn to leave, Jessica nodding, her professionalism a shield. Ryan, her orderly, waits at the corridor's end, his young face discreet, ready to guide me out. Nathan clutches the quilt, stunned, Lauren's eyes downcast. Sarah and Robert stand by me, Mia's hand in mine. The lobby's antiseptic scent fades as I step toward the exit. My cane steady, my heart free. I've exposed Nathan's betrayal, reclaimed my worth. The family I choose, Sarah, Mia, Robert, is enough. I slip out with Ryan, the quilt left behind, its truth blazing. Where am I going now? The future waits, and I'm ready to claim it. The road hums with promise, a song of new beginnings. Freedom smells like salt and wind rushing through the open windows of Robert's SUV. The quilt's message, family is earned, not owed, echoes in my heart, a final farewell to Nathan, who thought he could erase me. We cruise through rural U.S. highways, golden fields blurring past the air sharp with summer grass. My cane rests against my seat, my stroke a distant memory in this moment. I'm Maggie Thompson, 65, liberated at last. Pacific Cove waits ahead, its crashing waves and seagull cries calling me to a new life. I'm free, and the weight of Nathan's betrayal lifts with every mile. Robert grips the wheel, his mechanic's hands steady, his face glowing with pride. "You did it, Maggie," he says, smiling. "You're free." I nod, my hair tousled by the wind, the trust funds from our house and car sales safe in my name. I think of the years I gave up art school for his shop, for Nathan's college sacrifices that fueled his entitlement. Robert's redemption, his loyalty now mends the distance between us. We drive on the highway, stretching like a promise, the salty air growing stronger. I breathe deeply, unburdened my heart light. I'm not just a mother who sewed for her family. I'm a woman starting anew, and Pacific Cove is my canvas. In Willow Creek, Nathan and Lauren pull up to my house, their faces tight. The new owners, a young family, unload boxes, their laughter spilling across the lawn. Nathan's jaw drops, his suit rumpled. Lauren's heels wobble, her socialite poise crumbling. At Sunny Haven, Jessica the administrator meets them, her face calm but firm. "Maggie left this for you," she says, handing Nathan the quilt, heavy with my note and Bill's letter. Nathan's hands shake as he reads my words. "I know about your forgery, Nathan. The house is gone," he mutters. She knew everything, his voice hollow. Jessica, driven by her grandmother's neglect, in a facility stands tall, ensuring my freedom. Nathan's guilt surfaces, his greed exposed, while Lauren's distress signals her unraveling, her fear of social shame, now real. I step onto Pacific Cove's beach waves, crashing seagulls screeching overhead. The salty air fills my lungs, and I feel alive, my cane sinking into the sand. Robert follows his arm around me, his pride a quiet strength. My phone buzzes Sarah's text, vowing to visit with Mia. "We're with you, Mom." It reads, her reconciliation a warm light in my heart. I think of Sarah's resentment, how I missed her graduation for work, and how she's healed that rift. Mia's loyalty, her bracelet on my wrist, binds us across generations. Nathan's shock, his realization of the sold house and quilt, redefines our dynamic. He wanted my home to fix his debts, but I've taken it back, my liberation complete. Is freedom worth leaving them behind? The question lingers, but the ocean's roar answers yes. Sarah's text lights up my phone, a promise of family rebuilt. Will they find me in Pacific Cove? I smile, the waves washing my feet, my heart open to Sarah and Mia, but closed to Nathan's greed. Robert squeezes my hand, his redemption complete. I'm free, and Nathan's reckoning is his own. The quilt, my legacy, speaks louder than I ever could. The ocean whispers, release its waves, a soft lullaby against the shore. Can I bury the pain of Nathan's betrayal, or will it linger like salt in the air? Pacific Cove's beach glows with a golden sunset, the waves lapping gently at my feet. Mia's bracelet warm on my wrist sparks hope for a new family, its beads catching the fading light. My cane sinks into the sand, my stroke a distant echo. I'm Maggie Thompson, 65, free at last. My rented bungalow, cozy with quilts and the scent of fresh paint, waits behind me, a new home for a new life. I've left Nathan's greed behind, but his shadow still tugs at my heart. I walk the beach, the sand cool under my toes, a family photo clutched in my hand. Me, Nathan, Sarah young and laughing before Bill died before Robert's distance. I kneel, my knees creaking, and bury the photo in the sand, a symbolic release of Nathan's betrayal, his insults, his torn quilt, his attempt to steal my home. The waves wash over it, cleansing my pain, my heart lighter than it's been in years. I think of the sacrifices I made giving up art school for Robert's shop sewing nights to fund Nathan's college. I'm liberated not just from Nathan, but from the weight of those years. The ocean's roar feels like applause, urging me to let go. Back at the bungalow, my phone buzzes letters, tucked into my bag. Sarah's words spill out, her handwriting shaky. I should have stood by you sooner, Mom, she writes, her remorse healing the rift from when I missed her graduation for work. Mia's letter follows her teenage scrawl, fierce. You're my hero, Grandma, she says, vowing a visit. I smile, touched my fingers, tracing her bracelet. Their loyalty rooted in love binds us across generations, redefining family. I sit at my sewing table, quilts draped around me, the paint scent fresh. Sarah and Mia are my home now, not the house Nathan tried to sell. My heart lifts, freedom settling deep. Robert joins me. His mechanic's hands steady his eyes, warm with pride. Embrace this, Maggie, he says, his voice soft. He shares his regret for distancing himself, for letting my sacrifices supporting his career build a wall. You're stronger than I ever knew, he adds, his redemption complete. My phone rings, Jessica's voice crackling from Sunny Haven. "Nathan came looking for you," she says, her fairness driven by her grandmother's neglect in a facility. "He asked where you went." My breath catches a micro twist hinting at his reflection. Nathan's inquiry underscores his past injustice, his insults, his forgery, but I'm detached, triumphant. Can I forgive a stranger who was once my son? The question hangs, but the ocean's whisper answers my freedom comes first. I stand on the bungalow's porch, the sunset fading stars pricking the sky. Sarah and Mia's letters, Robert's pride, Jessica's update. They weave a new family, one earned through love, not owed. Nathan's inquiry lingers in my mind, a faint echo of the boy I raised. Is he seeking forgiveness? I clutch Mia's bracelet, the waves a steady rhythm. I've let go of his betrayal, but his path is his own. Pacific Cove is my beginning, and I'm ready to live it. The ocean hums with possibility, its waves a melody of hope and renewal. My needle weaves a future for us all, each stitch binding my heart to a life I never dared dream. Pacific Cove's craft shop buzzes with life, the clatter of sewing machines, blending with the chatter of locals, their voices warm as they admire my quilts. My bungalow, a cozy haven, smells of sea air and fabric, scraps its walls draped with vibrant patches of my new beginning. I'm Maggie Thompson, 65. My cane a quiet companion since my stroke, but my spirit unbound. Mia's quilt nearly complete on my table stitches hope into every thread, its colors bright as the coastal sun. Nathan's betrayal, his cruel insults, the torn quilt, his threat to evict me, fades like a storm retreating over the horizon. I've triumphed my liberation, a song sung by the waves, but a whisper of what's next lingers in the salt air. The craft shop is alive with the coastal fair, a yearly Pacific Cove tradition where locals trade handmade treasures under striped tents. I stand at my booth, my quilts draped over wooden racks, their patterns catching the sunlight, reds, blues, and golds, dancing like the ocean itself. A young woman, her hair tied back with a scarf, runs her fingers over a quilt, her eyes wide. "You're the quilt lady," she says, her voice soft with awe. "These are incredible." I smile, my confidence once shattered by Nathan's greed now restored. I guide her hands, showing her the stitching technique I perfected over decades, the same one I used to fund Nathan's college, sacrificing my art school dreams for Robert's shop. Those years, those choices built a life I thought I'd lose to Nathan's schemes. Here in Pacific Cove, I'm not just a mother who lost her son. I'm a teacher, a creator, my legacy woven into every quilt. The fair hums with energy. Children dart between stalls, their laughter mingling with the scent of fried clams and cotton candy. I mentor a group of young crafters, their needles clumsy but eager, their faces bright with curiosity. Keep the thread taut, I say. My voice gentle, my cane resting against a chair. A teenage boy, his hands calloused from fishing grins as his patch holds firm. I think of Mia, my granddaughter, whose loyalty kept me grounded through Nathan's betrayal. Her bracelet warm on my wrist is a reminder of the family I choose. Nathan's actions calling me a burden. Tearing my quilt, threatening to evict me from my own home still sting. But they're distant now, like a bruise fading. My triumph standing here among new friends evokes a quiet satisfaction, a life reclaimed from his greed. Back at my bungalow, the sea air drifts through open windows, rustling fabric scraps on my table. My phone buzzes, Sarah's voice crackling through bright with hope. "Mom, we're coming to visit." She says her words a balm. She's my daughter, 35, a graphic designer who once resented me for missing her college graduation, tied up with work to support her and Nathan. Now her reconciliation is a bridge rebuilt. "Mia can't wait to quilt with you." She adds, her voice warm. Mia chimes in, her teenage excitement spilling over. "Grandma, you're my hero." I clutch the phone, my heart swelling. Sarah hesitates, then says, "Nathan's selling your quilt. Mom, he's starting to see what he did. My breath catches a micro twist, hinting at Nathan's reflection. His greed, rooted in the college I funded, the home I built, drove him to betray me. But Sarah and Mia's commitment, their love, completes our family's redefinition, a new thread in my story. I sit at my sewing table, Mia's quilt spread before me, its patches nearly complete. The bungalow's fresh paint smells sharp, mingling with the salt air, a symbol of my new start. Robert joins me, his mechanic's hands gentle, as he sets a coffee mug down, his smile proud. "You've built something here, Maggie," he says, his voice steady. I think of the years I gave up for his shop, for our family, and how his distance melted into pride. I was blind to your strength, he admits, his eyes soft. His redemption born from my sacrifices is a quiet victory. I nod my fingers, tracing Mia's quilt, its colors a promise to her, to us. Nathan's past actions, his insults, his torn quilt, his eviction threat linger, but their shadows now powerless against my triumph. The audience, women like me, would feel this victory too, their hearts lifted by my freedom. The ocean calls and I step onto the beach, Mia's quilt folded in my arms. The sunset paints the sky gold waves, lapping gently, seagulls circling overhead. I finish the quilt's last stitch, my needle flashing in the fading light, a symbol of hope, woven for Mia. I found myself here. I whisper the waves, swallowing my words. Did I lose a son or find myself? The question settles, answered by the quilt, by Sarah and Mia's love, by the life I'm building. Nathan's path remains his own, his reflection a faint light I don't need to chase. I'm open to Sarah and Mia, their visit, a promise of family reborn. The ocean's rhythm steadies me, its vastness a canvas for my future. Pacific Cove is my home, its craft shop, my legacy, its people, my community. But as I stand, the waves whispering, my phone buzzes again. A message from Jessica Sunny Haven's administrator, her voice urgent through the text. Nathan's asking questions, Maggie. He wants to know where you are. My pulse quickens, the salt air sharp in my lungs. Is he seeking redemption or something else? The question hangs a thread left loose, waiting to be woven into whatever comes next. The ocean's whisper lingers, a promise of peace, but Jessica's text cuts through it like a needle through cloth. Nathan's asking questions, seeking me out in Pacific Cove. Is he chasing redemption or just the shadow of his greed? I stand on the beach, the sunset's gold fading to twilight waves, lapping at my toes. Mia's quilt finished and folded in my bungalow binds me to her, to Sarah, to a family I've chosen. My cane sinks into the sand, my stroke a distant memory against the strength I've found. I'm Maggie Thompson, 65, and Pacific Cove is my new home. Its salty air and craft shop, my sanctuary. But Nathan's inquiry stirs a ripple in my calm, a thread I can't yet cut. I walk back to my bungalow. The sea air cool, the scent of fresh paint and fabric scraps welcoming me. My quilts drape the walls, each stitch, a story of survival. I settle at my sewing table, Mia's bracelet glinting on my wrist, a reminder of her loyalty. Jessica's message glows on my phone, her words sharp. He was at Sunny Haven, Maggie. He looked shaken. My heart skips, not with fear, but with curiosity. Nathan's betrayal, his insults, the torn quilt, his eviction threat once crushed me. Now his search feels like a puzzle. Is he seeking forgiveness or another way to take what's mine? I think of Bill's letter warning of his greed and the trust I protected. My liberation is solid, but his shadow tests it. Robert joins me, his mechanic's hand steady as he sets a mug of coffee down the steam, curling like Pacific Cove's mist. You're worried, he says, his voice soft, his eyes warm with pride. He's been my rock since Willow Creek, his redemption complete after years of distance. I sacrificed art school for his shop, for our family, and now he stands by me, unwavering. Nathan's looking for me. I say, my voice steady. Jessica says he's asking questions. Robert frowns, his brow creasing. Let him look, he says. You've built a life here. I nod, but the question lingers. What does Nathan want? My fingers trace Mia's quilt, its hope a shield against his past cruelty. The next morning, Pacific Cove's craft shop hums with life locals bustling for the weekly sewing circle. The clatter of machines and chatter of neighbors fill the air, a coastal tradition that's become my heartbeat. I teach a young woman, Emily, to stitch a star pattern, her hands nervous but eager. "You make it look easy, Maggie," she says, her smile bright. I laugh, my confidence steady, a far cry from the woman Nathan called a burden. I think of Sarah, her reconciliation a warm light, and Mia, whose heroism mirrors mine. Their planned visit keeps me grounded, but Nathan's inquiry nags a loose thread in my peace. I want to believe he's reflecting, but his greed, born from my sacrifices for his college, makes me wary. My phone buzzes as I tidy the shop, a call from Sarah. Her voice is bright but cautious. "Mom, we're packing for Pacific Cove," she says, her graphic designer life slowing for family. Mia's so excited. I smile, picturing Mia's ponytail bouncing her bracelet-making hands, eager to quilt. Sarah hesitates, then adds, "Nathan called me. He's asking where you are. He sounded different." My pulse quickens, a micro twist sparking. Different, how I ask. "Quiet, maybe sorry," she says. "He's selling your quilt, but he kept Bill's letter." I clutch my cane, the shop's hum fading. Nathan's reflection, hinted at in Sarah's words, stirs hope and doubt. His past insulting me, tearing my quilt, threatening eviction looms, but this shift feels new. I step outside, the ocean breeze, sharp seagulls circling over the craft fair's tents. Emily waves her star quilt, taking shape, a symbol of new beginnings. I think of my sacrifices, nights sewing, to fund Nathan's education, giving up art school for Robert. Those choices built a family, but Nathan's greed broke it. Sarah's reconciliation, Mia's loyalty, Robert's pride, they've woven a new family, one earned through love. But Nathan's inquiry, his possible remorse, tugs at me. Can a stranger become a son again? The ocean doesn't answer its waves, steady but silent. I return to the bungalow, the scent of fabric grounding me, and find a letter slipped under the door. The envelope is plain postmarked from Willow Creek, no return address. My hands tremble as I open it, expecting Sarah or Mia, but the handwriting is Nathan's. "Mom," it reads, "I was wrong. I don't know how to fix this, but I'm trying." My breath catches the words raw, unlike his smug tone in Willow Creek. He mentions Bill's letter, how it shook him and the quilt now for sale to pay debts. "I see you now," he writes but doesn't ask to come. My heart twists. Hope, anger, love, all tangled. I think of Clara, her estrangement a mirror to my pain, and Jessica, whose fairness protected me. Nathan's letter is a step but not a promise. I tuck it away next to Mia's quilt. My resolve unshaken, but my heart open to possibility. Robert finds me, his eyes searching. "What's that?" he asks, nodding at the letter. I show him, my voice soft. "Nathan's trying," I say. He nods his hand on mine. "You don't owe him anything, Maggie." He's right, but the mother in me wonders. I step onto the porch, the ocean's roar filling the night. Locals pass, their voices warm from the fair, carrying baskets of crafts. I think of Mia's excitement, Sarah's visit, the life I've built. Nathan's letter, his reflection is a thread I don't need to pull, but it's there, waiting. What does he want now? The question hangs, a new chapter unwritten, as the stars blink over Pacific Cove. Nathan's voicemail echoes in my mind, his smug words. She's out of the way now, a sharp reminder of his betrayal. But my heart beats with resolve, stitching a new path forward. In Pacific Cove, I've found freedom weaving quilts that carry my strength, not just my pain. Family isn't just blood, it's the love we earn, through trust like the bracelets Mia made, or Sarah's tearful apologies. I learned that even when children stray, our love can guide them back if we hold fast to our worth. Like a quilt life phrase, but can be mended with care and courage. If my story touched you, share your own in the comments, or join us for more tales of family and hope. Your voice weaves our community stronger.